Hello everybody, welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. Today we are going to tackle the Infinite Bathroom, and I know already a lot of veteran players out there are rolling their eyes because after all, isn't the Infinite Bathroom one of the earliest systems that we learned how to build in Oxygen Not Included? The answer is yes, but at the same time, the game has only been released officially for about a week, so I feel like there are going to be a lot of new players out there for whom this is new information, and if this is new information for you, then guess what? This is the next thing you want to build in your base, guaranteed. I almost don't care what stage of the game you're at. You can build these things about as early as cycle 5. Usually cycle 10 for a lot of bases is when you'll have the technology to build these. And they are nothing but upside. And they're nothing but great upside as well. They generate water for your base. Water is one of the most important resources in the game. There's really no reason not to have an Infinite Bathroom be the very next project that you tackle in the base that you're playing right now if you haven't built it already. So let's get down to the why and how. Why do you want to build this thing? How do you build this thing? And we're not going to start with a finished Infinite Bathroom, right? Because this looks really complicated. This looks really messy. People look at this and they say, oh, I have no idea what's going on. I'm so confused. And they click away. They don't know what they're doing. We're not going to start off with a finished one. Instead, we're going to start off with one that's kind of just in the making. And here we have a little base down here, which is kind of what you might expect for a base. We have a barracks down here, right? Some cots in a nice room. I have some decor going on. We have a mess hall, right? I have a little water cooler here for our duplicants. We've got a painting and some nice stuff, right? Just some little kind of, normal rooms, a massage clinic. The washroom is what we're going to care about today, and alongside it, this little miscellaneous room that I have back here, which is going to house our water sieve and compost heap. So, the basic idea of this build is that we are going to use the upgraded versions of the wash basin and the outhouse. They are called the sink and the lavatory, respectively. And the upside of these is, well, it's numerous. The first upside is that these do not require any duplicant labor to supply themselves. You don't need duplicants to come by and plumb the toilet. You don't need duplicants to come by and deliver new water or new dirt into these buildings. They basically accept everything just through these input ports. So we have these input plumbing ports that will all accept clean water, and then in these green output ports, they will output polluted water. Every single one of these buildings consumes 5 kilograms of water on use, but outputs, in the case of the sink, 5 kilograms of polluted water, and in the case of the lavatory, 11.7 kilograms of polluted water. So this system will actually generate water for you over time. Every time your duplicants go to the bathroom, they're going to be generating 6.7 kilograms of water for your base. That's absolutely huge. Water, again, is one of the most important resources in the game. You use it to water your crops. You use it to generate oxygen. You use it as coolant. Very important. You definitely want more of it. This is one way to get it. And we're going to pair the sinks and lavatories, which are taking in clean water and outputting polluted water, we're going to pair them with a water sieve. And the way that a water sieve works is that it is a building that requires power, 120 watts, not too bad, but it will take in sand, which will be delivered by duplicants, and polluted water, which will be taken in through its input port right here, and it will output clean water from its output port right here. You can also flip this building around. Right, so if I go turn on sandbox mode, go refinement, and I made myself a water sieve. Here it's facing kind of the default direction. I can turn these around by pressing O. So the O key can rotate these things around if you want to have the ports in different places, right? Or if you just like the look of one building facing a different way, right? So you can rotate these lavatories if you like. But that's the basic idea. We are going to create a loop using this system, and the really important thing to understand in the system is how pipe mechanics work. If we create a junction, and in pretty much all of our plumbing, we are going to want to use this, but if we create a junction, we're going to want to use a liquid bridge to form that junction. So here I have water traveling either up or down this pipe. When it reaches this liquid bridge, it is always going to try and bridge over before it continues along this pipe. This is going to be a very core mechanic. The priority is given to crossing the bridge. Anytime a liquid can, it is going to try and enter into an input port. That is going to be, by default, what it tries to do. So we're going to use this to create a system where the priority is for the system to resupply itself, and then any excess water can go somewhere else. And that's how we're going to deal with the excess water that's being generated from these lavatories and prevent our system from sort of overflowing. And the way I like to build my systems is basically this. I'm going to have a liquid pipe. Let's say we put our clean water line down here. This is going to be our clean water line where we have clean water traveling. And then up here, I'm going to put a polluted water line. Something just like so, right? And all of our polluted water we're going to dump onto this line up here, and all of our clean water is going to travel to the sinks using this clean water line down here. And the way we're going to manage this is with liquid bridges. So here we have our clean water line. It is going to be coming from this water sieve over here, and we're just going to bridge it over to all of the inputs of our lavatories and sinks right here. So I've used these bridges, and now we connect down. So I've bridged my way off of this main line to these different buildings that I want to supply. And if I want to, I can take any excess water and have it just go off over here. So once these buildings are supplied, if I want to, I can have excess water come out this end. You don't necessarily need this, but you can use this water to do something like supply some farms, right? So we could have some hydroponic farms over here ready to grow bristle blossom or some other thing, right? If we don't want to bridge off the water from there, we can bridge it off somewhere else. We have a lot of flexibility. We can have things split off over here, split off over here. We can add, for example, also some liquid reservoirs to the system, right? Wherever we want, we could have this polluted water line travel up into here, into this liquid reservoir, before going down into this water sieve. We have a lot of options in terms of how we do this, but it's very important to remember that we want the priority to be resupplying this system first. Anytime we can, we want the system to resupply itself before it does anything else. That's very important. So we have our inputs coming in here. We're also then going to have our outputs bridging out to our output line. So this is going to be our wastewater line, and we're just going to do the exact same thing. Liquid pipe connecting like so. And then one of the things we can do, if we want to take, say, polluted water and siphon that off. So for example, let's say we have over here, we have some hydroponic farms that we want to manage. Pinch of Peppernut, for example, will take in polluted water as an irrigation medium. If we have some hydroponic farms over here, then what we can also do is just supply this, this water sieve using a liquid bridge. So we're going to go plumbing, liquid bridge, and do something like this. We connect up these pipes, and voila, the system is done. The next thing, the only thing we're going to want to do is take some water and pipe it over here. So we're going to have, right, we're going to have some area off to the side where we have a liquid pump that we've hooked up, and then we're going to take this liquid pipe and we're just going to come over here and we're going to bridge onto this line and supply water into the system until it's up and running, right? We'll need a little bit of water to kick the system off just to supply our initial lavatories and sinks, but then all the excess water will come out into this water sieve and resupply the system first and continue kind of increasing the water in the system until there is excess water that can then be siphoned off through one of these processes, right? So again, make sure that this system is prioritized by having it all controlled with these liquid bridges, right? They will take the liquid bridge before they take anything else, and that's how you can make sure that the system is always resupplying itself before it goes off to feed some Pinch of Peppernut farms or something like this. The other trick to this system is that this water sieve is going to be taking in sand that is supplied by duplicants and outputting polluted dirt. And that polluted dirt is going to have germs on it. And we're kind of going to not want to handle that polluted dirt without washing our hands afterwards. So we have a little compost heap right here, and this compost heap will take that polluted dirt and turn it into normal dirt. This also requires some duplicant operation. And I've taken this little room that I have down here, and I've put it in this little alcove so that anybody who comes in to handle the polluted dirt that is being outputted by this system then has to walk by these sinks and wash their hands. Right? So a good place to put this little processing area is also behind some more sinks. Of course, if you wanted to, you could have this room be somewhere else, right? And you could have a sink in front of it to make sure that they wash their hands, and then just take the system that you have over here and kind of link it up to that, right? It's not that hard once you have this sort of central water line and central polluted water line to then just extend those lines somewhere else, right? So, for example, if I wanted to put another bathroom over here, then it's really simple. Right, I could have these liquid pipes simply extend across here and then do the exact same thing that I did right here with a new set of sinks and lavatories, right? Base, tile, run some tile across here. We have a door, and then I just start setting up, again, my sinks and bathrooms and so on and so forth. Again, because the sinks, the access door is going to be here, I'm going to want to have my sinks over here, and then I'm going to want to have in plumbing, I'm going to want to have my lavatories, say right here, right? But I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to bridge over to these systems to supply them, and so you can kind of extend this out. Or if I wanted to just have a sink over here, right? If I just wanted to have a sink over here so people can wash their hands, and then maybe this is where I have, right, my water sieve, and this is where I had, say, my water sieve and my compost heap, right? Then I would make sure that I, one, didn't have this thing over here, but I could have all these connections set up over here in some separate system. So this isn't just a good way of supplying your infinite bathroom. This is also a good way to place any sinks or lavatories wherever you want in your base. If you wanted to have, for example, a medical room over here, right? We go to medicine. We actually, let me enclose this area as a room first, just to illustrate. If we go to medicine and I say I want to have a triage cot, but then I also want to make sure that I have a mess table, and then I also want to have in medicine a sink and a lavatory, right? I can supply this sink and lavatory and have this be there we go. This can be a hospital, right? And I can supply these things using my central water line. So I think this is a good design principle, having just a central wastewater line, a central clean water line. It allows you to very easily create these systems or kind of branch off from these systems and supply other parts of your base. So the basics, again, for our infinite bathroom, these sinks and lavatories generate more polluted water than they consume in clean water. In particular, the lavatory generates 6.7 kilograms more polluted water than it consumes in clean water. You want to take this polluted water and run it through a water sieve, and then you want to make sure that through a system of bridges, you prioritize resupplying the system with new water, but then are able to take any excess water and put it towards farms or put it towards some other use. It will be germy water, but things like farms won't care if you're taking a germy water. There are a lot of applications you can use for germy clean water or germy polluted water. Here, for example, this bridge that I have right here is siphoning off polluted water. We could very easily have another bridge over here that was siphoning off clean water. So for example, I could say plumbing, liquid bridge, something like this, and then say base, tile, replace that, and then plumbing, liquid pipe. Just take this pipe and run it off to some farms down here, right? Food, hydroponic farms, and this would be a clean water line that's being siphoned off. Hopefully I haven't beaten the concept over the head too much. I want to keep the video a little bit short, but this is the basic idea. It's really very simple. It doesn't have to be very complicated. Again, liquid bridges are the way to supply the system and control the flow within the system. Use them properly. It'll be very easy and very easy to expand your system later to handle hospitals or other rooms where you need cleaning done. Very, very simple, very, very easy. Hope this has been helpful. And again, this is nothing but upside. It's generating water for your base. It's generating dirt from sand in your base, which is great because dirt is more useful than sand. It improves morale. It improves hygiene. There's nothing but upside, and you can build it very early on in basically every single Let's Play that you do. So that's it for this episode. I'll catch you guys next time.